Hey guys, how's it going? Josh here with Plan B Native Plant Nursery. And it's been a while since my last update, so I figured I would show you guys some of the updates and how some of the things I grew last year have been going, some of the new spring germination and such. So yeah, let's just get to it. So I swear I planted and I'm growing less this year, but it doesn't feel like it when I look at everything. Some of this stuff is leftover from last year. Like a lot of these lilies, like the tiger lilies, the checker lilies, death camas, great camas, etc. I've been trying a new method, just leaving them in these plug trays for the first, I don't know, these ones are on their second year now. I don't know how long I'll leave them in there, but probably for 2 or 3 years, I imagine I could get away with it. Just because they grow so slowly, I don't think it's really worth repotting them till they're a bit older. But we'll see. It's kind of a bit of a trial and error process to see what's the best method for them. But you can see a lot of the death camas is coming back up from last year. It's 1 year old now. There's a few other things, like some of the great camas too, but the death camas always seems to be the first one to come up. These are little tiger lilies. Western tiger lilies, I should say. But yeah, it's cool to see that. We got a few things germinating already. It's been a remarkably mild winter in February, especially. These are the fool's onion. These guys are also 1 year old now. Another slow growing one. But yeah, it's been so mild that I've literally already started repotting some of the seedlings that have germinated, just to try to get as much of a head start on spring repotting as I can. But I'm actually surprised there hasn't been more stuff that has germinated, considering the mild weather. But this is a cool one. This is a brand new one that I've gotten to germinate for the first time this year. Not a lot of them, but a few of them. These are little Vaccinium parvifolium, or red huckleberry. I've tried these guys for years to get them to germinate, and this is the first year I've gotten any, so that's exciting. I think the key was basically I collected the berries and planted them right away, so I could try to give them some worm stratification. I think that was the key. But just in general, I hear they can have very finicky germination rates year to year. But, I don't know, they're kind of just growing them for fun, more so than... I mean, I will be selling them eventually, but they're such a slow growing one, I probably won't ever grow them in large quantities. So I'll give you an example here. This guy I germinated last year for the first time. This is Vaccinium ovifolium, or oval-leaved blueberry, blue huckleberry. And yeah, easily the slowest growing shrub out of everything I've ever tried growing, these Vacciniums. But we'll see. You never know. Sometimes the first year, they really put their energy into making their roots. In the second year, they have more above ground growth. So we'll see. But yeah, I only have a few of them here. This guy's the biggest one. But yeah, I can cut them some slack. It is winter, so they don't look very nice. Also, these guys, some salal I grew last year, only a couple of them. For whatever reason, I had bad germination. I'm trying again this year. Again, just for fun, because they're also on the slow-growing end of things. Last year, we also grew some Devil's Club, some Oplopanax horridus. They don't look like much here, but you can see their little spiky nubs coming up from the soil there. Really love Devil's Club. I think I'm actually going to start growing a lot of it, because I feel like it's something that a lot of projects are looking for like restoration, and it just doesn't seem widely available. So I think I could maybe fill that gap, but we'll see. But yeah, Devil's Club, such a cool plant, one of my favorites. Other things that have germinated already. We got a few Oregon stone crops that have germinated. Not a lot so far, but I grew them last year from seed. Very easy to grow. We get field chickweed. Actually, this is something I repotted most of them already. But you can see them there. Those guys are a little small still. Woolly sunflower. Along with the field chickweed, they don't really need stratification, or a very minimal amount. I don't actually have an exact number I can give you, but they seem to really not need much. But yeah, most of these guys I'm showing you germinated in like January, early January, which is always concerning because you're not sure if they'll survive if you have a, you know, like a big cold front or anything like that. But it's been so mild, so these guys are good to go. These guys are a little russet hair saxifrage, or geez, I always forget the Latin name for these guys. Oh yeah, for Micranthes Virginia, something like that. I'll put it down below. Yeah, those guys. Also got some lots of the Arbutus seedlings are growing too. Little Arbutus Menziesii. I grew them last year for the first time. They did actually quite well. So I actually planted quite a lot of them this year. Like here's some of them right here actually in 1-gallon pots. And these guys are actually kind of the runts of the litter. I sold some of the ones that were a bit bigger than this. I also repotted some of the bigger ones too, because I'd like to get some going in like larger containers and see how big I can grow them. But yeah, they were pretty nice. I'll show you the bigger ones in a second, but while we're here, I'll show you these guys, little Douglas firs here. Not too tall. But yeah, the conifers, I don't know what the key is to getting like good germination from them. I'm still kind of figuring that one out. If anyone knows, let me know down below. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing wrong, but I got those 3 to grow at least. So I got these guys, which are common junipers, or Juniperus communis, which is a pretty cool one too. First time growing that one last year. They did pretty well. Oh, I got one little berberous alcifolium blooming already there. Yeah, these are the bigger Arbutus from last year. Some of the biggest ones. They're probably around, I don't know, 8 to 10 inches tall, so not super big. But I'm definitely happy with them. They look pretty nice to me. Yeah. Another exciting thing this year I'm trying to grow for the first time. They don't look like anything right now besides the weeds you see on the surface. Well, I'll see if I can uncover this one lightly. Oh, actually, that's cool. It's the first time I saw this. So, okay, I'm actually not going to uncover this one more than it already is. But this is an acorn from a Gary oak, Quercus garryana. And they actually put down a taproot in the fall. You can see the root coming out of the little acorn shell there. And then they finally put up their shoot when it gets to spring. And this is the first time I saw that little green shoot coming up. So that's exciting that they've been successful. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to growing those guys, although they're another one that is apparently very slow to grow. So we'll see how they do and how slow they actually are. See if I can uncover this one, how this one looks. You see the little acorn there. You can see the little root coming out of the acorn. Well, kind of. Might be hard to tell in the video, but yeah, this is cool that they've been successful so far. Yeah, I managed to make it to the island in the fall where most of the Gary oaks are and collect some, so I'm happy to give it a shot growing them. Another one I grew last year. First time, Knickynick. Some of them look pretty good, some of them are a bit small still. I actually made a bed of these guys out back for ideally collecting berries from in the future, because they always seem to be growing in not very opportune spots or very like finicky berry production certain years. So if I had a bed like on the property I could just collect from, that would be really nice. Yeah, I don't know. I was here the other day and the deer seemingly kind of fucked the bed up, so not entirely sure how that's going to go. I might recover. We'll see. Oh, the Lupinus polyphilus here coming up and looking very vibrant and green. Really nice here. Even some of the ones I left outside all winter are already coming up. They're not quite as big yet because they're, outside, it's warmer in the greenhouse, but still, they're not too far off either. Let's see, other highlights. We got some osoberry starting to bloom. These guys are 1 year old now. Grew them last year from seed. See there, some of them are a good size. Some of them are just like one stalk with a flower at the top, but it's okay. And this guy is a male. You see the stamen with the pollen on them. Osaberry or Omlaria cerciformis is dioecious, so they have separate male and female plants. See if there's a female here we could compare to. No, that's male, male, and you're, okay, they're all boys, all the ones that are blooming at least. I don't know, it's a weird thing with dioecious plants. At least like anecdotally, my observations I've seen in nature, it seems like a lot of times there's a lot more males than females around. I'm sure that can vary depending on the species and stuff, but that's just kind of what I've noticed. But you can see I already started repotting some stuff. These guys are a new species. These guys are Barberia orthoceros, or I don't know, American wintercress, bittercress, tower mustard. Has a lot of common names, but yeah, I didn't know when I planted them that they didn't need stratification. So they germinated really early, but I'm happy they've all survived. You know, probably not going to be a super popular plant for retail sales-wise, but you never know. It's a good one for butterflies, though. It's a native mustard. So a lot of those, like, butterflies called whites, like the cabbage white, and ones that are related and in the same genus rely on mustards. That's why they go after your, like, broccolis and stuff like that in your gardens. But yeah, this is a native mustard, so it's good for a lot of butterflies. And we got the field chickweeds here. A few woolly sunflowers. Didn't repot too many so far, because they could grow a bit. So another cool thing, I'm kind of just growing for fun, not to sell, because it is native, but not really to the coast on the mainland at least. It has some pockets of it on the island, but it's more like native towards the interior. It's a prickly pear cactus. Actually, I had a friend that was working up in the interior doing some field work and would tell me how these would get like stuck to their pant legs, and they would like get off work and notice them like attached to their pants, because like these little round nubs, I don't know the botany term for them, but they just like break off super easily and get stuck to things, and that's like how they spread. Then they'll get taken somewhere else, and then they'll root in place ideally. So yeah, I kind of got some of the nubs from my friend and planted them, and they've done pretty decently here. You can kind of just keep cloning them forever if you wanted to, but I don't know. Like I said, it's mostly just a fun one for me. Yeah, it's really amazing, like just the variability in growth rates of different plants. Of course, like the evergreen things tend to be on the really slower side of things. Like these are like big leaf maples that were also started from seed last year. And you know, some of them are probably, you know, at least 4 feet tall-ish. Yeah. Oh yeah, here's another one. More berberous aquifolium. Also started from seed last year. But yeah, some of them are a pretty good size in height for 1 year, but some of them are still pretty small. You can see the difference in those ones. I guess that's natural. Some are just naturally going to grow faster, or there could be more or less nutrients sometimes that affects them. I'm focusing growing stuff that does better in urban landscapes and less on things that are more habitat specific, especially if it's things that need like wetter areas or prefer them naturally. Like certain things I'm not growing anymore because they just haven't been big sellers, like the Pacific crabapple or the Pacific silverweed, because they do need those wetter areas generally. I'll probably still grow them in the future in smaller quantities once I run out of what I have, but for now, I'm just taking a break from growing them. A few other things as well, but so 2 ones off the top of my head. It's a bit of a mess in here. Trying to get everything ready for spring as usual, as is tradition. Trying to get everything cleaned up and organized. Make space for all the things I'm growing. Yeah, these guys, can't see anything so far, except for this one has a little shoot coming up. These guys are Hooker's fairy bells, the best type of fairy bells. Presartes hookeri. Yeah, last year they kind of just put up one little stem with a couple leaves on them. So they're on the slower growing side, but we'll see how slowly. I've heard they're faster than other things, so they might be sellable this year. Also got some evergreen or redwood violets, or Viola sempervirens. They weren't too bad to grow. They are slow growing. But I don't know, they're cool. They're just hard to collect the seeds from because, once the seed pod opens, they just kind of fall everywhere. So the timing is really hard to get for collecting any significant amount of seeds. Got some red columbine coming back up too. And yeah, I don't know if I have too much else to show you guys in here. We got some more verberous nervosa here. First year, last year, where I actually grew a decent sized crop of them. It's a really nice one. Like I said, a lot of people really want evergreen stuff, so it's good to have lots in stock. As well as this is a really nice one for like dry, shady areas. It's one of the best recommendations from that, and because it doesn't get too tall like a lot of our native shrubs, it only gets, I don't know, I would say average 2 to 3 feet. Sometimes you'll see them a bit taller, but nothing crazy. Like I feel like most of our shrubs get like 12 feet plus at least. So it's a nice one to recommend, along with like the ball tip rose for shady areas. But yeah, I think that's it for in here for now. Alright, I gotta do a lot out here in the next like month or so, but doing okay. You can see here's some of the lupine I mentioned. It's sitting out here all winter, but it's looking pretty good. Also got this bed over here. I replanted this year. It used to be this red columbine, but I got completely overwhelmed by creeping buttercup, which is invasive here. And the only way I felt like I could fix it was to just tarp it over for a year and then replant it. I planted a few other things in here. Like, these are small flowered alum root, although it's a Heuchera micrantha. But deer actually came and bit off the tops. So we'll see if that's an ongoing issue. Just planted a few Pacific waterleaf here. You can't see anything. All these beds are not going to look like much because it is February, but yeah. And we got some red columbine popping up out here as well. But I gotta get some mulch in the next month and cover over these new beds just so I don't have weeds popping up everywhere and the same thing happens again. So that is on my to-do list. But yeah, I've added quite a few raised beds. There's a few of them from last year, and they did pretty well too. Like this is a new one here. Doesn't look like anything, of course, but this is going to be Spirea betulifolia, which is like birchlead Spirea. Has a few different common names, but yeah, that's a pretty cool one. This is one from last year, sticky cinquefoil or Drimacallis glandulosa. Did really well. Same with the Penstemon cerulatus here from last year. Both of them I planted, I guess not this recent fall, but the fall before. So they've been planted for like a year and a half. I never watered them once. And yeah, even through the summer, just left them alone like this in these raised beds, and they did totally fine, which is great. We got nodding onion, Allium cernuum here. It's a new one I just planted. This one too is new. We got some of these guys, which are Campanula rotundifolia, or common harebell. Last year I grew these for the first time, but I only got a really small amount of them to grow. So I planted basically all of them, except for one out here, to hopefully get some seeds from. And I had extra room in the bed, so I just threw in a bunch of sea thrifts, or Armeria maritima. And I don't know, something's been coming here and like plucking them out. I found them on the ground next to the bed a couple times, but I don't know, maybe I'm assuming that's a deer just trying to eat them. But they've kind of gotten what they can from them by now, so hopefully they're done. And we got some field chickweed here, some Cerastium arvents. And this was the Conifer bed I was talking about. Yeah, the first day they came, they took a couple bites of some of the plants. But then they left them. They were like mostly all okay still. It was fine. I was like, okay, that's whatever. Sometimes the deer come and they like to taste test certain things. And they realize, oh, this isn't very good. And then they'll leave it alone forever. But oh, this time they took a couple bites and they came back and they kind of wrecked a lot of it. I mean, we'll see. If the roots are okay, then they might still regenerate and be fine. But yeah, they definitely did some damage though. So we'll see. I guess I'll give you guys a future update. But yeah, it's nice to see the field chickweed starting to green up too. Look a bit nicer again. Hopefully that'll fill in this whole bed and just be like a nice matte green mat. And we have this bed from last year. This is the woolly sunflower bed, the Eriophyllum linatum. And I don't know, last year I had it planted. It didn't do well over the winter. A lot of them died. In the spring, I had a lot of extra plugs that I wasn't going to repot, so I just shoved them in the ground. And they did really well, all the plugs. I didn't even have to water them, even though I planted them in like May, I think. Maybe it was late April, but point is they did really well. So we'll see this year if they have a better survival rate or not. It might just be something that needs a raised bed because in nature they generally are in pretty well draining or really dry areas like rocky outcrops or bluffs, things like that. But some of it is definitely alive. You see some of it definitely popping up in places, but it just kind of comes down to how much. And if that's a yearly issue, then in the long term, a raised bed's going to be a lot better. But yeah, lots to do out here. I got a lot of cleanup to do in a new area. I'm going to lay some landscape fabric into or down on as well to claim for the future. But with a lot of the raised beds I've been planting, I've been prioritizing plants that do well in dry, sunny conditions and that are relatively low growing. As I would really like to be able to put together a seed mix that would work as a really good like lawn alternative or lawn replacement mix. And I think, yeah, those would be really ideal. All these low growing plants that make lots of flowers, that grow well together. I think that's what people would really be looking for. So that is the goal with those guys. I don't know. It definitely takes a lot longer than you think to get all of it going between growing the plants for the first time and getting them to produce seeds and collecting the seeds and having enough. So I have no idea when it will actually happen, but it's bound to happen one of these years. Yeah, I think we'll see. It's because sometimes things fail too. Like the woolly sunflower really did not make seeds last year for me. So hopefully this year. Anyways, guys, that's about it for now. I'm sure I'll have more updates towards spring, but thank you for watching. If you liked the video, comment, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Appreciate you watching. Peace.